Antony posted a video about Chris's book where Chris talks about his 10 years of Tomoryu bullshit. And, you know, obviously I'm not going to read it. I'm still waiting for a copy of another book because I'm not going to buy it myself, but I wanted to put it through my book scanner with my OCR so I could see where Chris stole everything from. But, yeah, definitely not going to read some sort of autobiography of Chris because, eh, obviously. But Antony talks about, you know, why doesn't everyone get together in a united ninjutsu community? But, you know, they are together. It's called the Bujinkan, it's called the Genbukan, it's called the Jinenkan, you know, and then everyone else who's in that community is just bullshit artists. Uh, you know, he's like, oh, why doesn't Dean make videos on ninjutsu? He's gone away from that. I never actually did make videos on ninjutsu. I made videos about why people are wrong, and usually that would involve ninjutsu, but I'd never, you know, I don't talk about ninjutsu to teach people because, you know, join the Bujinkan. You want to learn, spend some time in there. You know, Antony says it's, you know, it's all, people are upset that they learned that ninjutsu is not about fighting. That's always been the point in the Bujinkan. If you stayed around long enough, you would learn, you know, little bits, and you would understand why things are done. You'd understand why your fingers are like this. You'd understand that kind of stuff. You know, it'd be like, you'd be training in a whole class, and you would catch one little bit of information, and you'd be like, oh, okay, that's ninjutsu. That's pure ninjutsu right there. But no one's gonna, you know, these people who are with Chris, who are with the Ron Duncan group, or with all these other groups, they don't want to learn that kind of shit because it's too much effort for such a little thing. They want to be like, oh, I'm going to learn ninjutsu, I'm going to do a backflip, you know. Obviously, yes, I've gone to classes where we do flips, you know. I've trained with Ted Lavarius, and I've done lots of crazy stuff. You know, Ted, Duncan, all those people can do awesome Taihenjutsu. But is it really ninjutsu? Yeah, it's part of it. You know, there. Of course, Soke knows all this stuff, but there's 9 schools that are, even though there's more, and it's a lot of information. So you're not joining the Bujinkan, like, the way that I would say it is, the Bujinkan is not ninjutsu, it's a synthesis of all different arts that contain ninjutsu. You know, you're learning how to fight. It's a martial art for fighting. You can learn how to do the other crap, and there's plenty of people who do. So, you know, stick around long enough, conduct yourself the right way, and you'll learn it. You know, I happen to have learned, you know, I knew people, so I learned certain stuff, you know. I can comment on this bullshit about being underwater when Chris completely lies. I can comment on water techniques. I can comment on techniques for making a torch that doesn't go out in the water. I can comment on moving underwater. I can comment on swimming techniques. I know all this stuff because I happen to know someone who got it from the source, and that worked out for me. You know, another guy who trains, he might never learn it. Another guy might learn more than me. Obviously, lots of people have learned more than me. If you stay with Chris, like Anthony's like, oh, Chris, he used to make these videos, and then now he's just doing the same thing. Here's a ground fighting video. Here's an advertisement. Yeah, obviously he's making videos like that because he learned ninjutsu from your books. He can only learn so much. He doesn't have a source. That's the whole problem with it. You know, I'm not going to put out information for him to steal. That's not the point. You know, someone like Don isn't going to put out information for someone else to steal. A long time ago, with the whole Greg bullshit, I made a video. I said it was a ninjutsu technique called Onibi no Jutsu. I took powdered sugar and I was breathing fire with it. Then, Greg makes a video about Onibi no Jutsu, Greg's student, that Sorakuna no Kunai guy, makes a video about Onibi no Jutsu breathing fire. That was a made-up technique. I made that up so that you can copy it. All these people copied this bullshit. You know, that's not the real technique of Onibi no Jutsu. It's something that's, you know, it's a street performing technique that I just happened to say was ninjutsu as an experiment to see how many people would copy me. And obviously, tons of people did. There was like 8 videos doing the same thing that I did, wrong, because I actually used, you know, I used powdered sugar, which is a safer form of doing the technique, and they all used alcohol like retards, and that can burn your face off. I think one of them even used kerosene, which is, you know, that's how it's done professionally in the circus, but, you know, you have to coat your mouth with certain stuff, you have to make sure you don't swallow it, you have to make sure, I'm not even going to get into this professional stuff, but yeah, there's lots of specific stuff that you have to do if you're going to breathe fire with kerosene, but that's a different point. So anyway, yes, I don't put out information because it will get stolen. I know plenty of crap, and, you know, if someone says something wrong, maybe I'll correct it because that's what I do. But, yeah, I think I always have said fuck this much, I don't know. Anyway, I actually think that was the first time I said fuck in this video, so get one of those counter things underneath me so you can tell that. And Antony was saying that Nawa Sensei, you know, mixed his Torimono stuff, Taihojutsu stuff with Ninjutsu. But, you know, that's not... One, I have no idea where Antony's been getting this idea that shuriken are for arresting criminals. I still have no idea how that would even work. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's a distracting weapon. It appears in all sorts of things that aren't for, you know, arresting criminals. It appears in the Yagyu scrolls, you know, about... I think there's about 4 different types, maybe more, that appear in the Hiden of the Yagyu scrolls. You know, there's shuriken in the Kashima Shinryu scrolls. There's Katori Shinto-ryu uses shuriken. You know, and I'm talking about Hira shuriken for the Yagyu ryu. Tobori ryu, Hira shuriken. Yoshio ryu technically uses the Hira shuriken. You know, so it's all over the place. I don't understand how it would be used for arresting criminals. It doesn't make any sense to me, you know. But there is a lot of, you know, crossover between tools that you would use for arresting criminals, like Kaginawa. You would obviously, you know, that's one of the main tools of ninjutsu, as you said yourself, and it's one of the main tools of arresting criminals, you know. You could do the same thing. You could be like, someone mixed fishing stuff with arresting criminals, you know, because Russ posted a video, I mean not a video, a picture on Facebook, and it looked like a jitte. I always thought it was a jitte, but then we were talking about something else, and it turns out that it's a fid, and I didn't even know that fids existed in Japan, you know. It's looks exactly like a jitte, but it's tapered, and you use it as a fid for when you're separating line, you know, for splicing and all that kind of crap. So, you know, and then you have wakame kage for hooking wakame off the floor. You have the regular types of nage ikari, which are throwing anchors, which look exactly like kaginawa. Same thing with you know, the wakame kage. So you could say, oh, all these tools that people are saying are arresting tools are fishing tools, or you could say all these fishing tools are ninjutsu tools. And technically, you're correct on both. You know, a toate, fishing net. You know, there's toate no jutsu for controlling people, which is also an arresting technique, which is also a ninjutsu technique. You know, the whole thing, the thing that I got so much shit for on some sword website for Hatsumi's Shikaro no Ken, or Shikaro Katana, the sword that's actually a saw. Everyone's like, oh, that's bullshit, never existed, that's a stupid idea. There's a naval museum, I think I forget where it is. And this tool, this sword that is a saw, tons of them in the Naval Museum. Because a sword that's a saw was used for cutting the chandlery in ships. You could use it to cut lines, you could use it for, you know, actually cutting into the ship. Fishing tool or ninja tool? You know, it's a naval tool. That's obviously, people said for years and years and years, and that it's bullshit. Oh, Ahsoka made that up. Here it is in a fucking museum, a naval museum. A gekhead. You know, that's a hook on a stick, like a a kamigari or you know a kagibo, whatever you want to call it. It's for. They say that it's for when you're about to moor your boat, you can use it as a regular boat hook, pull yourself in, or to when you're side by side with the vessel to hook the vessel, pull it in for boarding. That is also a ninjutsu tool. You could use it for climbing. You could use that as an arresting tool. So all this stuff is crossing over. And it's not, oh, now a sensei was obsessed with this, so he mixed it together. No, they're all tools that work the same way. There's such an overlap between naval stuff, ninjutsu, and arresting tools. If you're going to board a ship, if you're on a small boat and you're going to board a ship, you're going to use even nowadays, there's an extendable ladder, it's a pole, kagi on top, little holes for you to put rungs in. This exact same tool appears in, lots of ninja documents. It's a naval tool. It's a ninja tool. Ladders with hooks on top. Slide it up against the ship from your small boat. Climb up. Also used on castles. It's a ninja tool. Also, you get 4 of them and you can arrest people that way. They all cross over. So the idea that, oh, this guy messed up. No, he has all these documents. He has all these first-hand documents. He knows what the hell he's talking about. There just happens to be an overlap because these things are so similar. It's that simple. Oh, I'm on a boat. I'm going to use a waterproof torch. I'm a ninja. I'm going to use a waterproof torch. It's that simple. They're all related. What else to talk about? I don't really remember. That's about it. And Don's books are available on Amazon. Go to Amazon.com. I'll post a link down below. You can buy it. It's better to buy directly from Don. He makes more money that way. But if you, if he doesn't like you, buy it. Let him have your money, but don't tell him I told you. Even though he's going to watch this video. The end.